Positive Guru. It's always glad to have you along. And today, wanted to talk about what would actually, let's say, for example, if you were going through your life and you're saying, well, how can I have my life more interesting? Sometimes we wonder that. How can I have my life be more adventurous? Sometimes we wonder that. How can I have my life being more meaningful? Sometimes we wonder, well, how can we do that? Well, today what I want to talk about is something that actually helps with all of those things. And this will sound so simple when I say it, but at the same time, it's quite deep. And the answer is to follow God, follow the universe, follow the signs. And it's like I said, it sounds so simple, but at the same time, it's so deep. This morning, I was thinking about something that my teacher, Mr. Ambrister, used to say. He used to say, not my will, thy will be done. That's like thy will be done as earth as it is in heaven. Give us this day our daily bread, that type of thing. But when he said, not my will, meaning that I should not be focused on what I want. I should be focused on what God wants. Now, another way to put it is, I should be focused on what the deeper part of me wants, because that part of me knows more than I know with a smaller mind. Just recently, I've been working on employing that more and more and realizing in some ways I'm still not doing it as much as I possibly could. Now, as I said in the past, sometimes this has saved my life. Sometimes it has made my business a better business just by listening to the signs, paying attention to the signs. And then sometimes if I'm not careful, I'll procrastinate doing it. And when I finally do, I look and I say, man, how could I have taken all this time and not done this? I should have done this some time ago. I'd be way over here if I did. And this week, I've had a couple times where I woke up from sleeping and was told that, hey, you need to do this with your with Positive Guru, or you need to do that. And I just got up and I just started moving towards it, because I'm at a point in my life where I want to see certain things happen. My youngest son, he was talking about how there's certain things he wants to see happen before he leaves, and he's only 19 years old. Well, I'm at that point, and I'm 60 years old. Hey, there are certain things that I want to see happen, and those things are truly beyond my intellect in order to get there. So I have to go to some source that knows more than me. And I've already known, but it's definitely become clear to me that AI does not have the answers for that. But the intelligence within me does. And that does not mean that I may not work with AI sometimes, but the intelligence within me has the answers and the information, not just to accomplish what we need to accomplish, but to move into an incredible adventure, move into the things that we really may want to do, but may not be ready to do with our conscious mind. Now, I remember years ago when I was working with my gutter and window cleaning business, and my son had graduated from college, and he came back and he worked in the business. He started working in the business. Now, initially, he came back, he went into the business world and started working in mortgages, which was somewhat in his field. He's an economics major. He had an economics bachelor's, but it just was not working out for him. So then he quit the job. It just wasn't working. Well, he started looking for work, and maybe at that time I thought he wasn't looking as much as he should. I don't know. But whatever the case is, I said, hey, why don't you work in the business? And he liked it. And then I said, well, I wanted to be able to make the kind of money that he would make as an economics major. So how can I do that? And as soon as I put the question out there, the answer came. And when the answer came, I got a sign telling me that, yes, this is your answer. I decided to move on that answer. That answer was to raise your prices dramatically. And I plan on just inching my prices up a little bit, because my customers, they've been dealing with this for years, and they know approximately when it's time for the price to go up and what it may go up to. And I wanted to take this big jump, what I consider to be a big jump. And so I raised the price because I got the sign from God. And when I got that sign, I moved on it. And when I did move on that sign, it was a pretty interesting thing because it was scary. But I was confident that, you know what, this is what, somewhat confident, that this is what God wants me to do. I have to follow this sign. If I'm wrong, I guess I'll find out. They won't like the price, they won't deal with me. But if I dramatically raise my prices, I can afford to pay him the same kind of money, have him work where he gets half the job as a contractor, and then everything will work out. So I implemented it. It was starting to work a little bit, and then my mother used to answer the phone for the business back at that time. And my sister called me one day. She was over at my mom's house or apartment at the time, and she called me. She says, "Craig, you got to talk to mom. You know, she's always great with the customers. I hear her answering the phone because I had the calls going to her cell phone, and she says, you know, she's great, but she is over there apologizing for your new prices. You know, she was like, yeah." I told him I thought it was quite a bit higher and maybe he shouldn't charge that much. so so I was like, okay, I'll talk to her. So I talked to my mom and I told her, I said, look, I got the sign from God that this is the new price and this is what we got to go with. We cannot be hemming and hawing. We got to let them know this is the price and stick with it. So she did. Once she committed to it, no more complaints about the price. Once she felt it and we felt it, everything worked out. And it was incredible. But I got the sign from the universe. And if I had not gotten it, there's no way I would have gone up that much. But it was the exact answer that I needed. And it's been so many times that I've been told, move in this direction. And so many times that when I did, even though the thing that I was being told to do seemed to not make sense, it was the very thing that I needed to do. We have all the answers inside of us. That God is within us. That whatever you want to call it, universal intelligence, it's within us, our higher selves. We're connected to it. Einstein got his theory of relativity in a dream-like vision. So many people have gotten things in dream. Why? Because the conscious mind wasn't in the way to mess it up. When we get these signs, sometimes they come in dream. Sometimes they come in intuitions. But when we get these signs and they feel like an unmistakable sign, sometimes if it's too scary, we can ask, hey, give me another sign. But we got to move on it. And it's an adventure because it challenges us. It challenges us to move into new directions and to move further than we would ever move with just who we are with our conscious mind and way of doing things. If we already had that, we'd already be there. So we have to be open. And when we are, it's a marvelous adventure. This morning, my wife was telling me that I needed to move to, or she wasn't telling me I needed to. I took it as a sign to consider. I'm still seeing. I took it as a sign to consider about moving to a subscription model for my gutter and window cleaning business, or to something of that effect, because she was just talking about, she's been talking to me about it for a while, about how all the hair people, the hairdressers, I can't think of the proper word right now. The beauticians, there we go. Yeah. How all the beauticians are moving into this model where you pay $20 a month, and then they still have what you pay when you come in. And the first one she went to said, "This is crazy. They have gone up in their prices, and they tell me I need to pay $20 a month. Otherwise, I got to pay this other way higher price. I never heard of this." And then each one she went to was doing the same thing. Well, this morning she says, yeah, because she went to get her hair done yesterday. She says, yeah, my hairdresser, she really broke it down to me today, and she explained why she moved into this and how it works for her business and how it's steady income, even if someone misses their appointment or this or that or the other or reschedules, and how it really works for them. And I was like, man, that's my answer. My friend Vernon, he had talked to me some time ago, and he was like, man, you ever thought about moving to a subscription model? He's also one of my customers, but we're friends from way back, and then we're just good friends. And he was saying, you ever thought about moving to a subscription model for your business? I think it would really go good for what you're doing. And at the time, I told him that's a good idea. I'm gonna consider that. I thought about it, but never considered it again. This was earlier in the year. And now when I'm online, I keep getting all these ads about doing something similar to that effect, with how if you're making 10,000 a month uh, doing doing window cleaning, or if you're making 10,000 plus a month, if you move to this, you'll move to $40,000 to $50,000 a month, and all you have to do is just, and it goes into it, and it's talking about the same thing, and it's giving all the reasons why. And I have just been so resistant. But earlier this morning, right before Kelly brought this to my attention, she wasn't even talking about me. She's talking about her experience with the beauticians and why she understands it and why she gets it now. But right before that, I saw an ad for the thing for window cleaning business owners. And I said to myself, I said, man, I might have to pay attention to this once I get some time to really start moving into what we're going to do for this year. Maybe I'll start looking into this. And then right afterwards, and I'm still resistant, but when she mentioned that, I got this feeling that I get when I get higher information saying I need to pay attention. But it's an adventure, and it's a little bit scary. Changing a model and doing something different. But this is where the adventure is. There's things that I need to move into with Positive Guru, and I'm doing now. And it's a little bit scary, but it's an adventure. And if we go through life looking for the signs, the more we look for them and the more we move on them, the more they will show up. Whether it's this person coming to talk to us, whether we see this on the television set, then we have a dream and we're taking time to meditate, they come to us in more abundance. And then we move on them and we see what happens on account of them. Life is a much more beautiful thing. Until next time, peace and blessings. Thank you.
Okay, you gotta break this down to me, man. The subscription.
Yeah, I was